Hey YouTube, this is Digital 8 Darok here with my first After Effects tutorial since of my getting of, I guess you could say, CS4. Today we're going to be making an explosion, but before we do, I just would like to say, if you ever get comfortable with After Effects, and when you do actually, because After Effects is very simple to use once you learn how to use it, head on over to videocopilot.net with Andrew Kramer and he'll show you a lot more stuff. Anyway, alright, let's see what we're going to be creating today. Alright, pretty simple. It's an explosion. So let's go ahead and get started. So let's create a new composition. Let's call this Explode. And make sure it's NTSC-DV. You can work in HD if you want to, but for this, it might be a little distorted. Alright, so 10-second duration, everything's same, and let's go. Alright, so now let's create a new layer, and this is going to be a circle, so we're going to create a circle, and we're going to create a solid and flame. That's what we're going to call it. Make sure it's comp size, and this looks alright. Hit OK. Alright, so to create this as a circle, we're not going to mask it. We're going to use something that's already in After Effects, and that's the Generate Circle tool. So go to Effects, Generate, and go to Circle. If you're in an earlier version of of After Effects, just search over here in your presets bar. Anyway, so I'm going to go to full resolution, and this is looking pretty nice here. But we want to make this a little bit smaller, so decrease the radius to about 60. And now it's smaller. Let's change the color of the circle to a orange reddish color, and let's feather it a little bit. So go to your feather option in your circle and make it about 50. This kind of trails it off nice. Now today I feel like being lazy, and I'm going to teach you a nice trick to quickly create new layers, and this is the duplicate layer. So we're going to click on our layer, we're going to hit edit, duplicate, or Control D, and we're going to change the color in our effects. Now when you duplicated it, it automatically brought up the new effect panel. So click on your circle, and now we're going to make this yellow. Those of you who like numerics, it's 255, 255 in red and green. So hit OK, and drag this just below this, and you should get something that looks like a MasterCard logo, Visa logo, whichever one it is. One of the two. Okay. So let's create another circle. So duplicate that layer, or pick your favorite layer. I'm just going to pick the top one, and change the color to a light orange. Numeric value, if you want to create it light, is 150 for make it darker, but we're going to go a little bit lighter, so that looks good. Alright, so now we got our 3 circles, and we want to create a hotspot. So duplicate your layers again, so Control D or edit duplicate, and change the color to white. You'll see a lot of people will use gray. You'll see why that would be good to use later on, but right now use white because we can adjust that. So hit OK and drag it to the center, but you want to change the radius to about 45. So that's about 45, and make sure it's centered. Okay, well, this is the explosion. You can see it kind of explodes into your face, and it's a nice, neat effect for transitions, and I've used it as transitions. So I'll catch you guys later. Not really. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to pre-compose these layers, and pre-composing just means making another composition. So you're going to click into your timeline, click one of your layers if you would like, hit Control A, or click in this empty space down here, left click, and drag over top of your layers. Go to Layer, Pre-compose, and title this Explosion 1, or however you want to title it, and make sure it says Move All Attributes into New Composition. Hit OK, and now we're going to blend these colors together. So we're going to use a liquefy effect, which is in your effects, distort, and liquefy. I've been told some people don't have this effect. If you don't, you need to reinstall, because this comes in After Effects. It came in 6.5, it came in CS3, CS1, CS2, whatever you're working in, it comes with it. I'm not sure about 5.5 and later. earlier. But anyway, so make sure you're selected with your finger tool, and we're going to circle around the center of our explosion, and we really want to get some color built in with this explosion. And you'll notice that it kind of starts to turn gray in some of the edges, and some of the white starts to morph in here. Well, you want to get the colors nice and mixed in, because you don't want to, like, hey look, there's yellow and orange. You want this to kind of mix in nice. So now we want to kind of make this pointified. And it's all pointy. Okay, and you can adjust it however you want. That looks fine for me for right now, for the time I have to do this with you. So with that done, we want to now add our motion, because explosions just don't look like this. It just doesn't happen. So you want the animation to occur. So to do this, it's real simple. Go to Layer and create a new solid. Oops. Or Control Y. And go ahead and hit OK, leave it comp size, and go to Effect, Noise and Grain, Fractal Noise. And what this does is when we create the evolution, it gives it a motion to it. So to not keyframe it, this is something you'll learn at Video Copilot, you want to hold Alt and click on your evolution stopwatch, the big dial thing that's right here. Yeah, the stopwatch right beside it. So Alt click that, and what's going to happen is in your timeline you're going to have this window open up. And what it is it puts expression into it. So the expression we're going to use here with your highlighted numerical values is time asterisk or times shift 8 300, and this will give us some nice motion to it. As you can see, it kind of evolves quickly. Now to add this to our explosion, as you can see, it's two different layers. You want to go to your modes, and if you see the window that I just pulled up here, hit F4 on your keyboard and it'll bring up your modes window. There are only two windows, so pick your favorite. To do this, you're going to see all these different layers. If you're good in Photoshop, you know what all these mean. For right now, the one we're going to concentrate on is the classic color dodge. What this does is it adds the texture of the fractal noise to just the colored parts of your, to the highlights of your bottom layer, and not around it. So click classic color dodge, and you can see what happens. It's a little bright, so I'm going to take my brightness down to about -28. And now it's a little bit better. It's a little mixed in a little bit better too. So that looks pretty good. And we're going to pre-compose these two layers. So layer pre-compose and explosion final is what I'm going to call mine. And move all attributes into new composition, yada yada yada. And now we have our explosion, and it can transform. It does transform like a transformer off the movie. It's a good movie. A lot of action. And I'm in quarter resolution for those of you who are wondering why it's so pixelated. Now we're just going to add our basic animations and watch it grow. So click on the arrow next to your explosion final layer and go to your transform layer. Click the scale stopwatch, which is next to the graph looking thing, which is next to the scale looking thing, which is next to the link chain looking thing, which is next to these values here. Change your value in your percentage to 0, and it goes away. Surprise. Big deal. Go a little after 1 second, and then type into your percentage of your scale, 3300. If you don't see the diamond show up, you can click this diamond between these two arrows, and that adds keyframes. That tool is very useful when it comes to when you don't want to use an effect right now, but you have all your stopwatches highlighted. So you go farther, you click that effect, and it adds a keyframe just where that is, and you can add to your next effect to your stopwatch. So it's pretty neat. And now we're going to have it fade out like you saw in my example. So to get it fade out, you're going to click the stopwatch in your opacity where your timeline marker is. Go to about 1 second, and then go to about just after 2 seconds, because we want this to fade out pretty slow. And type in 0. And that has it. That's the end of the tutorial. Once you see this, you can watch it through. Kind of explodes. This is a good transition. Anyway, this is Digital Darok with my tutorial. I hope you found this useful, and you will come back for more tutorials. email me if you have an idea. Alright, thanks guys.